Have you ever found yourself wrestling with that subtle, persistent question? The one that sort of whispers, why can't I do things the same way as everyone else?
Hmm.
Maybe it's in a meeting,
Hmm.
where everyone seems to get it instantly,
Yeah.
or a social thing where the rules just feel alien.
Yeah, that feeling of being out of sync.
Exactly. We've all felt a bit different sometimes, right? But for some people, that feeling isn't just like a fleeting thought. It's this constant, perplexing companion. It colors everything.
It really shapes their world, their interactions, how they see themselves.
Yeah. And today, we're really going deep into this experience. What it means to live with a brain that's, well, wired a little differently. We're navigating a really personal journey of someone discovering and living with neurodiversity.
And our source for this deep dive, it's really quite special. It's titled Navigating Neurodiversity, A Personal Journey.
Mm.
And it's not, a clinical report or some dry textbook.
Right.
No, this is it's a collection of intimate notes, raw firsthand stuff from someone detailing their actual lived experience with neurodiversity specifically, touching on ADHD and autism spectrum disorder, ASD.
Okay.
So it gives this incredibly valuable kind of unfiltered window into the day-to-day, the emotional side, the practical side of navigating a world that often feels, well, fundamentally misaligned with how your own brain works, how you process things, react to stuff, manage tasks.
So our mission today is pretty clear then. We want to unpack the emotional landscape here.
Mm-hmm.
Through this person's story, right? What were the key moments, the turning points, before diagnosis, after diagnosis?
The challenges too, the unexpected ones.
Yeah. And what can you, listening, maybe take away from this about understanding, maybe acceptance, both for yourself and, for others?
Definitely. It's about fostering that empathy, I think.
Exactly. So we're diving into a story that's more than just information. It's about connection. Let's get started. Okay, so the source kicks off with this line that just, it hits you, right? Perhaps many individuals feel this way.
Yeah, it's immediately relatable.
Totally. And before any diagnosis, the author says the main feeling, the big one, was, why can't I do things like others?
Hmm?
Just take a second and really think about the weight of that question, day in, day out.
Mm-hmm. It's not just a passing query.
No, it's this persistent, exhausting, internal questioning, this deep self-doubt that just grinds you down over time.
Imagine, constantly trying to squeeze yourself into a mold that just doesn't fit.
You're putting in so much effort.
Right.
Observing others who seem to just glide through things.
Yeah.
Social stuff, organizing their day, whatever it is.
Tasks that feel like climbing a mountain for you.
Exactly. And they seem to do it effortlessly.
Yeah.
While you feel like you're just pushing against something invisible.
And because there's no reason you know of, no explanation.
The conclusion you draw is, well, it's got to be me.
Yeah, self-blame. It's the default. I'm lazy. I'm not smart enough. I'm just not trying hard enough.
Right. And this feeling of being fundamentally different, plus that constant self-criticism, it has a huge impact.
A devastating impact, often.
Yeah, on your inner world.
Yeah.
Shapes your whole sense of self long before you have any clue what's really going on.
And that impact, the author puts it very directly, it causes one to lower self-worth.
It's not just feeling blue, is it?
No. This is like a systemic erosion of self-esteem. It builds up slowly, insidiously.
Yeah.
Years, maybe decades. Because if you constantly see yourself falling short, failing at things others manage easily, and you have no idea why.
Do you think it's a character flaw?
Exactly. A personal failing, a deficit in who you are, not a difference in how your brain is wired.
Which must lead to so much shame.
Oh, immense shame, anxiety, isolation. You try to hide it, right?
Right.
Mask the struggles, put on a normal face.
Which takes enormous energy in itself.
Absolutely enormous. So the key thing here is when these differences go unexplained, the mind defaults to self-blame. And that creates this deep wound, this lowered self-worth. It's not just a mood, it's an injury. And understanding this pre-diagnosis phase, this silent internal battle, it's crucial. It's the baseline for everything that comes after, for appreciating the relief and the new struggles that a diagnosis might bring.
It really is a heavy burden, just carrying that constant question about your own value. And this is where the story takes a big turn, right? Because eventually, maybe after years of this invisible struggle, the idea of neurodiversity or maybe developmental disability, it finally comes onto the radar.
Yeah, a potential explanation emerges.
And the author describes this as a real crossroads, a moment where you face two very different paths.
Right. Path number one, go for a diagnosis.
Actively seek it out, get a professional assessment, try to find out what's really going on.
It takes courage, that step, into the unknown, hoping answers bring clarity.
even if the answers are complicated.
Definitely. And then there's path 2. Remain in the gray area, afraid to know the truth.
Just live with the suspicion, the
Yeah.
questions, the doubt, but no confirmation.
Yeah. And that choice often comes from fear, doesn't it? Fear of a label, fear of what it might mean for your identity, your future.
Or maybe just hoping you can somehow fix it yourself. Just try harder and make it go away.
That desperate hope for conformity, yeah, it's complex.
So the author chose path 1. They went for the diagnosis.
They did. And their experience is really insightful here. They say, if you choose 1, assuming you're diagnosed with adult ADHD or ASD, many, including myself, feel a bit of relief that the cause has been identified.
That word relief,
Yeah.
it comes up again and again.
It's huge. It's profound. It's that aha moment, a massive psychological shift.
Like finally understanding why.
Exactly. It's the validation. Suddenly all those lifelong struggles, that feeling of being different or broken,
Yeah.
it has a name. It has a reason rooted in your neurology, not in some personal failing.
That must be incredibly powerful.
It really is. It's not a cure, obviously, but it completely reframes your internal story.
The self-blame starts to fade.
It can, yeah. It's replaced by, okay, I have a condition, instead of I am fundamentally flawed. That's an immense difference.
It gives you a way to understand the past, maybe.
Yeah.
All those confusing experiences.
Precisely. It's like finding the missing pieces of the puzzle. Suddenly, your life story makes a different kind of sense. It provides a framework.
That reframing,
Yeah.
it sounds liberating.
It is. Think about the weight that lifts. All that self-blame, the constant search for what's wrong with you, trying so hard to be normal,
Yeah.
that gets replaced by the reality of a diagnosable condition, which, okay, it has its own challenges, for sure.
Right.
But it offers a path to understanding yourself with more compassion and maybe finding strategies that actually work for you.
So it's a major turning point.
Yeah.
Moving from chaos and self-blame towards clarity,
Yeah,
self-compassion.
It's a new lens, transforming that narrative of failure into one of neurological difference.
Yeah.
It allows you to see struggles not as shortcomings, but as, well, as part of a different operating system.
Which opens the door to maybe a more constructive way forward.
Definitely. More self-accepting, hopefully.
That shift sounds like such a huge weight off, truly pivotal. But,
Yeah.
and you mentioned this, the diagnosis, it's not the end of the story, is it?
Not at all, as the author quickly finds out.
It brings a whole new set of complications, a new landscape to navigate.
Sometimes even more challenging in some ways.
It's a new beginning, but with its own trials.
Yeah.
The author says the next trial is, and it's about disclosure, right? Who do you tell?
Exactly. How do you share this deeply personal information? Do you share it? And what happens if you do? The author lays out 3 main choices people face after diagnosis, each one with big implications: personal, social, professional.
Okay, what are they?
Right. So, choice 1, coming out at work, telling colleagues, your boss, maybe HR, hoping for understanding, maybe accommodations.
Okay, makes sense. Risky, maybe, but potentially helpful.
Potentially. Choice 2, keeping it to oneself, complete privacy, maybe to avoid stigma, discrimination.
Understandable, too. Protect yourself.
And the third option, confining it to family and close acquaintances, sharing only in that trusted inner circle.
A smaller, maybe safer group.
Yeah. And choosing between these, it's a really delicate balance, isn't it?
For sure. You understanding, support, maybe things that make work easier.
But you're also terrified of the downsides: misunderstanding, judgment, negative consequences.
So many factors go into that decision. Your workplace culture, who you trust, how comfortable you feel being vulnerable.
And the specific ways your neurodivergence affects you too.
And what's really striking here, and quite sobering, is the author shares what they chose.
They say, I implemented 1 and 3.
So work disclosure and telling close contacts. Brave choices.
Very. And their experience at work. It's a powerful, almost cautionary tale.
Tell us about that.
Well, initially it seemed positive. They write, my direct supervisor responded in a way that seemed understanding of developmental disabilities. I felt relieved then.
Okay, so that initial relief again, that glimmer of hope. Maybe it's going to be okay.
Exactly. That feeling of safety, like the risk paid off.
Good.
But the following week, I had a meeting with the GM, and I was told that the transition from probation to full-time employment was off.
Wow. Just like that, with a positive reaction.
Just like that. A complete brutal reversal. That initial hope just shattered.
That highlights how fragile perceived understanding can be, doesn't it?
Absolutely. What looks like acceptance on the surface can vanish really quickly when it comes down to brass tacks like
Yeah.
employment status.
And it gets worse, doesn't it? There's more to the supervisor story.
There is. And this part, the author says, was what was most saddening.
Which was?
After coming out, that direct supervisor, the one who seemed understanding, never spoke to me again.
Never.
Never. Until the last day, no contact was made and any necessary communications for me were relayed through the GM.
Oh, that's awful. That's more than just losing a job offer.
It's a profound personal rejection, isn't it? To be ostracized like that, ignored, especially by the person who initially gave you hope.
It's incredibly painful, being shut out after you made yourself vulnerable. It speaks volumes about, about the gap between saying you understand and actually acting like it.
It really does. That cold shoulder, that deliberate withdrawal, it's devastating. A stark reminder of the risks involved in disclosure, even when you hope for the best.
Yeah. So this story, it really illustrates the real-world risks, doesn't it? Socially, professionally, even when a place seems understanding.
Exactly. It forces us to ask, what does inclusion really mean? Is it just awareness? Or does it require sustained support, flexibility, basic human decency?
It seems like this experience really shifted the author's perspective again.
It did. It leads to this larger, often quite disheartening observation about how society reacts more broadly.
Right. So the post-diagnosis, after the relief and then the rejection, they hit this new reality. They say, while psychologically it became easier as if a burden had been lifted, that initial validation we talked about, what awaited them was the reality that it is recognized, but few people other than those affected truly accept it.
That distinction is crucial. Recognized versus accepted.
Explain that a bit more.
Well, people might know the terms, right? ADHD, ASD. They might have heard about them, maybe read an article. They have a concept in their head.
Okay, so awareness exists.
Awareness exists, yes. But that intellectual knowing often doesn't translate into genuine understanding or empathy or, critically, a willingness to make actual accommodations or adjustments.
There's a gap.
A huge gap between knowing about something and truly accepting its implications for someone's daily life, especially if accepting it requires some effort or change from others.
And how does that gap show up in practice?
It shows up in really frustrating, often invalidating ways. The author points out, even when people recognize it, they start saying things like,
"Oh, I think I know where this is going."
Don't blame it on your ADHD.
Oh, yeah. Heard that one before.
It's a classic, isn't it? It's like the awareness itself gets weaponized.
How so?
Because it implies that the neurodiversity is just an excuse. That if you just tried harder, you could overcome it. It dismisses the reality of neurological difference.
Right. It puts it back on the individual as a matter of willpower, not wiring.
Precisely. The person isn't blaming anything. They're trying to explain the impact, maybe ask for support, communicate their needs. But that phrase shuts it all down.
It forces them back into that place of shame, maybe, self-doubt.
Totally undermines the relief the diagnosis brought. It's a really cruel irony. You seek understanding and get invalidated instead.
And the societal pressure, especially at work, it gets even harsher.
According to the author, yes. They quote this phrase, which they say is depressingly common. Even if you say you can't manage well due to developmental disability, there are no companies in Japan currently promoting work styles that accommodate people with developmental disabilities, so you just have to work harder.
Wow. Just work harder.
Yeah.
That's the solution offered.
That's the message. And the author notes they've heard variations of this since the Showa era. That's a long time. It points to deeply ingrained attitudes.
Yeah, it speaks to this culture of conformity, right? Absolute self-reliance. Fit in or fail.
And that clashes directly with the reality of neurodivergent functioning. It basically says the system won't bend. It's all on you. Adapt or else.
Imagine hearing that repeatedly, that your way of being is just incompatible. And the only advice is to essentially override your own brain through sheer effort.
It's an isolating and impossible demand, which leads to the core frustration the author expresses.
Which is?
They say, but that just doesn't work well. And crucially, almost certainly, all individuals affected believe they want to do well and navigate situations effectively.
Right. It's not about a lack of desire or effort.
Not at all. It's a fundamental mismatch, the way their brain works versus the rigid expectations and structures of a world designed mostly for neurotypical people.
Telling them to just work harder.
Right.
Well, your glasses analogy earlier, telling someone who needs glasses to just try harder to see.
Exactly. It doesn't change the underlying difference. The effort is there, often immense effort, but it's expended in a system not built for them. It leads to burnout, exhaustion, more self-criticism.
And then there's that really poignant observation about empathy.
Ah, yes. This one hits hard. But that sense or feeling of empathy, that sense and feeling, its shelf life is somehow very short.
The shelf life of empathy. Wow, what does that mean in practice?
It means initial understanding or sympathy fades fast. People might say, oh, I get it at first, offer a kind word.
All right.
But when the day-to-day realities require ongoing flexibility, different ways of communicating, patience, adjustments, that initial goodwill evaporates.
People lose patience.
They do. And the burden shifts right back onto the neurodivergent person to constantly explain, educate, advocate for themselves over and over again.
It sounds exhausting, a cycle of frustration and burnout.
It is. This short shelf life means the initial relief of diagnosis gets eroded by the constant effort needed just to maintain a basic level of understanding from others. It's an uphill battle.
So, after outlining all of this, the struggles, the brief relief, the rejections, the societal pressures, the author gives this sense of perspective.
A long-term view.
They say, with all of this, 50 years are about to pass.
50 years, that really lands, doesn't it?
It does. It just underscores that this isn't temporary. It's not a phase. It's a lifelong navigation.
Yeah, navigating a world often not built for you.
Yeah.
50 years of that constant negotiation, internal and external. Pushing against barriers, dealing with that fluctuating empathy.
It speaks to incredible persistence, resilience.
Absolutely. Just to keep going, find meaning in all that. It's a testament to their spirit.
And out of all that experience, decades of it, there's this transformation, a shift in focus.
A profound one, I'd say. The author states, now I don't care what wounds I incur.
What do you think that means? Don't care what wounds I incur?
I think it signifies moving beyond the personal pain, a kind of liberation from worrying about their own suffering, the slights, the rejections. They don't cripple them anymore.
It's not apathy, though, right?
No, not resignation. More like a reprioritization. A shift from self-preservation to something bigger. An outward focus.
Like the decades of hurt have forged something else.
Exactly. Maybe a clarity of purpose that overshadows individual concerns. The pain becomes fuel, not for bitterness, but for something constructive.
Which leads directly into their final statement, the culmination of this whole journey.
It's incredibly powerful.
They say, I just want to spend the rest of my life helping alleviate the stress of those who feel the same way I do.
Just, wow. After everything they've been through.
It's truly inspiring, isn't it? Taking all that pain, all those hard-won lessons, and dedicating your future to easing the path for others.
Turning personal struggle into collective well-being. It's a profound transformation of suffering into empathy and action.
It really brings it back to the listener, doesn't it? For you listening.
Right.
How can we contribute? How can we help alleviate that stress for others?
Yeah, through our own understanding, through advocacy, through creating spaces that are genuinely inclusive, not just superficially aware.
Moving beyond just recognizing to actively accepting and supporting. So quite a journey we followed today. This deep dive into a really raw, intimate account of navigating neurodiversity. We've seen the arc, haven't we? From that lonely struggle before diagnosis, the self-doubt,
The lowered self-worth.
through the complex choices around disclosure, the hope, the painful rejection.
Yeah, and then grappling with that gap between society recognizing neurodiversity and truly accepting it. The invalidation.
And finally, arriving at this place of incredible resilience and purpose, turning personal pain outward to help others.
What really stands out is that constant tension, isn't it? The immense relief a diagnosis can bring, finally, an explanation, versus the persistent, painful gap between awareness and genuine acceptance.
That short shelf life of empathy.
Exactly. It fades so quickly. But alongside that struggle, you see this incredible strength emerge. This deep dive really shows neurodiversity isn't just a label or a list of traits.
Right, that's a lived reality.
A profound lived experience. It shapes everything. And it demands that we think about how we interact, how our society is structured. It's not just about the individual adapting, it's about society adapting too.
Recognizing difference not as deficit, but just difference.
Yeah.
Requiring understanding from all sides.
Precisely.
So thinking about this powerful story and the author's ultimate goal to alleviate stress for others like them, it leaves us with a question, doesn't it? What step, small or large, could you take right now with this understanding? How can you help build a world where neurodiversity isn't just recognized vaguely, but truly accepted, meaningfully accommodated?
How do we extend that shelf life of empathy? How do we make understanding stick?
Moving beyond just knowing about neurodiversity to actually knowing, embracing, and supporting the diverse people living with it every single day. Something to really mull over.